Hello and welcome to the Animaze. I'm your host Kit, and today we're shuffling through the cards of the thriller gambling anime Kakegurui. A little warning for my buddies who haven't seen this anime, my review will not be free of spoilers, so if you care about that, I'd advise you to watch the show and then come back to watch this video. Okay, now let's get into it. So those of you who don't know what Kakegurui is, according to IMDb, the synopsis is, a gambling prodigy comes to an elite school run by games and turns the order upside down, which is a very basic explanation to a much more complex show. The psychological thriller anime was released in 2017 and was based off of the manga written by Homura Kawamoto, and it was illustrated by Toru Naomura. The show itself was directed by Yuichiro Hayashi, the script was written by Yasuko Kobayashi, and character designs were the work of Manabu Akita. It is currently available to watch on Netflix, as of the time that I'm recording this, and it's where I watched it, so I'm not exactly sure where it is. It might be on Crunchyroll, I'm not sure. So, to get started, let's discuss how the show actually begins. So, it begins with our narrator, Ryota Suzui, just kind of describing the way that the school works and all these different things. So, first scene that we really see is Ryota losing to Miri Saotome, who we'll learn a little bit more about a little bit later. So Ryota, as the narrator for the show, gives us a breakdown of the school. We learn about the social hierarchy of the Hyakao Private Academy, which is run almost exclusively on gambling. Your grades, what type of school assignments you turn in means absolutely nothing. It's the gambling wins specifically that matters the most. And when I think about it, I only saw one teacher throughout the entire season. Apparently, the student council, which is basically the government and power of the school, allows the students to play games, gambling games, of course, and the winners, not just the winners, everybody really owes a debt to the student council because it's the way that they run the school is it's as if it's a gambling casino. So, of course, when you're at the casino, with the way that they're playing it, the students have to pay their little debts. And I don't know if that kind of translates to other things, maybe they have to pay for clubs and things that they're joined into. I don't know, but we don't really we don't learn much about the school really beyond the gambling part. So, and I'll tell you guys about my thoughts on that later on. So the thing about it is, most of the people that play their games, that win, they're on the upside, so they get to pay off their debts without any concern. They're good, they're great. But the losers, who are they're usually super deep in debt, owe the student council. And until they can pay back their debt, they have to work in servitude as quote unquote house pets. So that's the whole thing. After we see Ryota losing, we are introduced to our main female lead. Yumiko Jabami is a transfer student that seems innocent enough, when you first look at her, and she almost immediately gets Ryota's affection and attention. Of course, with affection comes attention. But he tries to warn her about how the school runs when he's the one who's selected to kind of give her a tour of the school. But very, very quickly, she's challenged by Mary, to play a non-traditional version of rock, paper, scissors. So for context purposes, I'll kind of explain the workings of the game. So the students in their class takes a card and draws a symbol for rock, paper, or scissors on it before slipping it into a metal box so they can't be seen. Like from what I saw, it was kind of like this, it almost looked like a cash box for real. So it was cool. So the players then pull 3 cards each and choose only one to play against each other. If it's a match, they lay down their second card. And if it's a match again, they lay down their third. If the third matches, then they call a draw. But if they manage to pull a card that trumps their opponent, then they win. So, and during the process of this, of course, they're putting in their chips and they're gambling with their money. So it's like whoever wins takes the whole pot in the process. So to me, I thought the game was like super cool. Like this is a game that I'd be willing to play. You know what I mean? So quickly we learned that Yumiko isn't really a dummy. She's like not an idiot at all and not innocent for real. Because she quickly sniffs out Mary's cheat in the rock, paper, scissors game, which is like super complex. And I'm not going to like really spoil it right now because it's not too complex, but still it's like a lot to write down and then express. So you'd have to watch it to kind of see that part. So like I'm just going to leave that there. But in like what I can say from watching the anime and like looking at the way that these different things played out, what makes Yumiko stand out is, as the student council president described, is that her motivations aren't money. You know, we learn very quickly that Yumiko gambles for the sake of gambling. The money means nothing to her. It's the thrill of the game and the rush of winning and losing that keeps her coming back for more. So it's like this specific aspect of her personality is what makes her super dangerous to the way that the academy functions. I mean, that's like not even really hard to kind of like think about or guesstimate because of how she sort of operates. Like when you think about how, let's say, like you guys have seen, I'm pretty sure some of you guys have seen like gambling movies, and then there's like thugs and there's different people that they kind of like have in their back pocket, you know, whether that be police, government officials, you know, what are the things that they hold over their heads? Money, you know, drug addictions, different things like that. So it just kind of goes to show that like Yumiko is a wild card because she's not easily manipulated by materialistic things. So it's like she's really dangerous in that aspect. You know what I mean? So when you think about how much mayhem she could cause, I guess it wasn't really thoroughly examined or displayed in the show. Like you kind of saw her being weird, but it was lacking. I mean, I like a insane female lead as much as the next person, so I was like a little bit disappointed when like her character wasn't fully presented as much of a wild card as I believe she actually is when you think about the psychological aspects of things. Because like I said, like this is a psychological thriller, so you would expect there to be some deeper psychological aspects, you know, shown and kind of like examined and displayed. It just kind of wasn't. I'm already getting into like the stuff that I didn't like, but like, yeah, that was kind of what bothered me a little bit. So basically I've gave you like a full rundown, so we'll go ahead and like dig into my personal thoughts. As always, I kind of like to start with like the good first. So what I liked about the show is of course the games. That's what really attracted me to it in the first place, without even having read the manga or anything. I just was like, oh, okay, this is cool. I'm seeing games being done here. The games beyond Yumiko and Menyuta's showdown in episode 11 are by no means traditional. Like this is not just like every game they're playing poker. It's just gambling, dude. It's really unique. So like my favorite ones were Double Concentration. That was between Yumiko and Itsuki in episode 2. I liked Life or Death between Yumiko and Yuriko. And I believe, I can't even remember what episode that was in. Gosh, I had to remember about that. Of course, the game in episodes 4 and 5, where Mary and Yumiko team up to play against Kiwatari and Tsubomi. I was really down with that. I really liked how like how nicely Mary and Yumiko kind of started to get along later on in the series. It was like you kind of saw a group form with like Ryota, Yumiko, Mary, and I think it was Itsuki. Yeah, I think it was Itsuki. They kind of like formed a little 4 group where they were like friends, but Yeah, I liked seeing them team up together. Especially to beat Kiwatari. He was so annoying. I love Tsubomi though. She was sweet. And of course, I really did like the traditional poker game in episode 11. It was really fun to watch Yumiko, pummel Menyuta because he was annoying to me. He was arrogant. I don't like arrogant people, so yeah. And I also really liked the game between Kirari and Yumiko in episode 12. It was like the showdown. It was interesting. I can say though, this show does really, really good with suspense because you don't know what's going to happen next. Like if you haven't read the manga, even if you have read the manga before, like while reading it, you're not going to guesstimate what's going to happen. So it has like a lot of nice twists and turns. So I enjoyed that. I mean, if I had to pick like a favorite character, just based on like potential, I would say Yumiko because I felt like I just really liked her ability to kind of give off that insane, unable to be controlled type of energy. She's like a complete mystery. And we learned very little about her in the first season, which was a bit of a bother to me, but it's kind of like, to me, it's like, okay, maybe there's a promise of more, like in season 2 and so on. Perhaps we learn a bit more about her. I haven't seen the entirety of season 2. I've only watched season 1, which is why this is a season 1 review. I think I started season 2, but I haven't gotten deep into season 2 just yet. And I don't even know if I really want to because of like the parts of the season 1 that upset me. Is that a word? Upset me. There we go. English is hard, y'all. All right. So Yumiko's like, she's a mystery. We learned very little about her, and it bothered me a lot because of her potential. It's like just basically her potential. There's so much, I said it before, like crazy women in thrillers are like my favorite drug, but it loses the fun when the character is represented in such a like hypersexual manner as Yumiko was in this, which I'll get a bit more into in a minute. Another thing I really liked about the anime, of course, is the art. The angles, color choices, and lighting are gorgeous to me. And with my favorite color being red, I loved how it was so evenly distributed through the entirety of the anime's color scheme. It's just a beautiful color to me, so I really like to see it so brightly displayed. The only part of the art that I didn't like, though, was the super creepy close-ups when the characters looked like their brains were about to like leak out of their ears. It always freaked me out because it's like they look like they aged 3,000 years. It was gross. It's just really scary to me. I don't know why they kind of drew them like that. That was weird. Yeah, so that's a conclusion of like what I liked about the show. All right. Now we shall discuss what I didn't like. Here are the issues that I have with this show. One of the main issues I have with this anime is one that isn't really that serious, which is that it's pretty, like, it's unrealistic to an extent. And I know what you guys are gonna say, like, it's an anime, it's not supposed to be realistic. And it's like, yeah, or it doesn't have to be realistic. Yeah, whatever. The unrealistic part, to me, is the amount of time these kids give to gambling instead of taking care of their grades. Granted, like, this is basically a school for, snobbish rich kids, which I'm not saying that all rich kids are snobbish. I'm just saying that, like, that's kind of how it's portrayed in the anime. Like, these folks are rich. They don't really have to focus on their grades. Yeah. But at the same time, it's like the way that Kirari expressed how it works, how she's responsible for how the school operates, and she made the school her playground. It's like, how much power does any real student council ever really have in a school system? You understand what I mean? She created the gambling system the school currently runs on. And it's absolute insanity. It's just super unrealistic. And the even more unrealistic part is the fact that the teachers aren't gambling with the kids. I was surprised. I'm like, aren't there instructors? We see one introducing Yumiko in the first episode. Like, what's going on? Like, maybe that's just like a theme that they didn't really want to put in there. Maybe they just didn't really think that out. But I thought about it. I'm like, it doesn't have to be realistic. Yeah. Real life themes with realistic things. It makes sense to me, but whatever. That was probably not like explained as thoroughly as I would have liked to, but y'all get what I mean. Like, it was losing a little something. It's missing something. All right, it's missing something. And the second thing that was like a big issue for me, I really didn't like it, is you can tell just kind of like by watching the way that the female characters are presented, that it's geared towards what I would describe as like a perverted male audience. Let's just take into account the fact that these students are between the ages of 15 to 18, which means that they are minors. You understand what I'm saying? And to my knowledge, this whole entire operation, this anime and manga, were created by adults. You understand what I'm saying? So whether you want to say 18 is the cap or not, still, like, they're in high school. This is a high school academy. That fact alone makes it really, really uncomfortable when you register how many upskirt shots and like zoomed in focuses on the girl's chest and like very, very like gross themes that are kind of pulled up in like a very voyeuristic manner. When you think about all that and you add that all up, it really just makes you uncomfortable thinking about it, because it's like, you know, that's not necessary. Like, what really is the purpose of that entirely? Like, why is that there? You understand what I'm saying? Like, this is a psychological thriller. Why am I not being psychologically thrilled? I am getting, you know, pummeled in the face with objectification like every 5 seconds. You know, that's the part that kind of bothered me about the way that Yumiko's character was represented. Because it's like, y'all, she's crazy. You understand what I'm saying? Like, that's great. This is a crazy woman. Awesome. Let's have fun with that. But like, why are we getting like more, how can I describe it? It's like, it's just too much. It's too over sexualized. You understand what I'm saying? Even if you wanted to hint at the fact that perhaps she is getting some sort of sexual gratification from her gambling, you know, even so, there's a way to go about that does not objectify the character, that doesn't make it quote unquote enjoyable, you know, or aim to make it enjoyable for the audience. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, even thinking about the whole house pet situation, like, it's a very obvious reference to pet play. Like, come on now. And of course, like, the not so subtle hints at lesbianism between Yumiko and Miri and Midori and other female characters in the anime. It's just very voyeuristic and it's very showy. And it's very clear who these scenes are for. It's just like not great. You know what I mean? It's just not, it's not cool in my opinion. You know, I don't like it. So to me, it's like none of the scenes, maybe they were aiming for something different. To me, none of the scenes are really erotic because of the way that they're presented. They're always presented in a way that is clearly for ogling. It's clearly for gawking at the characters, which would gross me out even if she was over the age of 18, but she's not. This is a kid. This is a minor. It's weird and it's gross and it shouldn't be that way. And it's unnecessary. Like, she's genuinely unnecessary. So, yeah, to me, like, it really takes away from the goodness of the anime. Like, I can talk for hours and hours and hours about how often sexual themes are put into animes about literal kids, and it's like, it's just not necessary. Like, no one asked for that. You didn't have to put that in there. Like, you know, the trope with the creepy uncle, that's always just there in the series. It's like, he shouldn't be there. It doesn't matter if almost everyone has a creepy uncle. That guy should be ostracized. We should be putting him in film like, oh, this is a unique experience. That isn't a unique experience because we all have it. And it's like, that's not good. That means we're all getting traumatized. Let's get rid of this guy. But what do I know? Whatever. So, yeah, the last thing that like bothered me about this show is the wasted potential. Like, again, this show is a psychological thriller. I've seen a lot of psychological thrillers. That's my favorite genre of film, favorite genre of book. Where is the deep analysis? Why are we not getting deep dives into the characters' backstories between games? You know, why aren't we seeing the highs and lows of compulsive gambling and how it affects people? There are so many different ways this show could have improved the quality of the storytelling and kept its audience coming back for more. And I just didn't see that. I saw a lot of their time going towards objectifying the characters and being weird. It just bothered me. It bothered me a lot because it was just like, there could have been so much more. There could have been so much more. And y'all ain't do that. Why didn't you do that? So yeah, that's what I didn't like. That's the main gist of what I didn't like. There's a lot of small things that stood out to me. I said it before, but like I really liked Tsubomi because of how sweet she was. But like when I learned about what Kiwatari did to her and her hair, child, I was pressed. I was so mad. I was like, no, girl. I mean, something, we could have got him. Like that was crazy. That was crazy. He was so mean to her too. I didn't like that at all. So, my character thoughts. Let's talk about the characters a little bit. I'm not going to mention everybody because I'm going to be real with y'all. I don't remember everybody. But I'm going to just mention like the people that I kind of have like in my notes and different things like that. Oh my gosh, English is difficult. So, I kind of gave you guys my deep thoughts about Yumiko. Like I said, I love her as a character, but it's like there was like a lot left open that could have been filled. You understand what I'm saying? We could have got a little bit more. Where's the sauce? You know, where's the seasoning? We need some extra. You guys just gave me some bread. There's nothing in here. Ryota, he gives me puppy vibes. And I'm not just saying that because he was a house pet. His obsession with Yumiko did annoy me a little bit. It did, because he was kind of, like I said, he was giving me puppy vibes, and not like the cute puppy, like the annoying one. Like, y'all get what I mean. Some of y'all do. Not all of you will, but like there's just certain guys that sometimes have that, like, they don't like the girl because of her. Like, they don't like her. They kind of like the idea of her. They like these different aspects that kind of wow them. Like, oh, she's so dangerous, or she's so this, or she's so that. And it's like, yeah, but you know what's going on in her brain for real? Like, you should be looking into that, sir. I don't know, I feel like his liking of her is very superficial, but I can't necessarily like I can't say that for sure, because I mean, I'm not in his head, and there's only so much that we can kind of like break down from what we're shown and what's written and what's in the anime. But like I said, I haven't read the manga, so I can't like give you a full breakdown. I probably should do that though. I don't know, we'll see. Because from like the little bits of the manga that I did see, the upskirt shots were in there too. So I mean, I was like really bothered. Like, dang, I gotta read this too? Like, no, I don't like it. But yeah. So yeah, he annoyed me a little bit because he just seemed pretty wimpish. But like for that view of him probably says like a lot more about me than it does about him. So Miri, I'm gonna be real with y'all. I did not like her at first. I did not like her, but you know, she really grew on me. Like when I learned about her struggling, and I watched Kiwatari, or not Kiwatari. I done mixed up two names. Kirari. Was it her, Kirari, or was it somebody else who gave her that life plan? Her and Yumiko, and she was like, oh no, you're not about to sell me like that. But she kind of like explained a little bit of her backstory. We did learn a little bit, but it's like at the same time I feel like there could have been more. But when she was like talking about how where she came from, you know, she wasn't a rich kid, she worked hard for what she had, you know, I was like, okay, I see her. I see why she tough. I see why she was a bit of a bully. I get it. I mean, even her trying to single out Yumiko, she said it. She just wanted her to get her a little bit in debt to her, you know, but still, she shouldn't have been trying to mess with Yumiko. No, honey. Yeah. Like, the main reason why I didn't really like her was because she seemed like a really gross bully to me. But again, Ryota's like super annoying. So like, I kind of get why she bullied him like that, but I don't condone it. Like, let's be real. I did, like I said earlier, like I really did like how her and Yumiko got along later in the season though. That was really cool. Itsuki, that girl, she got some screws loose, y'all. She's off her rocker in a really weird way. That nail thing was just straight nasty. Like, girl, you ain't never heard of no clip-ons? Like, that's just weird. I mean, like, that was really weird. But like, aside from that, I thought she was really cute. She was adorable. And I did like her when she wasn't being crazy. I didn't like the fact that she was a cheater though. Yeah, I don't like the cheating thing. Midori. Midori grossed me out. Oh, she was so weird. Her obsession with Yumiko really made me miss hearing Ryota prattle on about Yumiko, and that's really, really saying something. The thing with Midori, like, she was desperate to just kick the bucket. Like, she was just like weird, and her drooling all over the place was really, really, really didn't help. The thing is, like, Midori was constantly trying to claim that she and Yumiko were one and the same, you know, but when we really think about it, they were not. Like, of course they weren't. While Yumiko's motivations was the thrill of the game, I mean, Midori was basically soulless. Like, she felt nothing, no gratification, no enjoyment, nothing. Her only buzz was the risk of not being here anymore. Like, she was reckless. She was really reckless, and it was just kind of gross, like the way that she sort of behaved. She needed help. Like, that's the truth. Like, she needed help. I just didn't like her because she was like kind of creepy, and the other guys thought she was creepy too. Those guys that like cornered Yumiko. I can't remember which episode that was in, but when they did that, it was like, oh no, the hag is here, you know? Like, she gave hag vibes for real. How do you give hag vibes in high school? That's concerning. So Runa, what was her last name? Yomozuki, I think it was. Runa. I thought she was really adorable. I loved her. I loved Runa. She was so cute and snarky. She was short, so I really liked her. Did she have ears on her jacket? I forget now. But like, whatever it was, I thought her outfit was cute. So that was like the main thing that I really liked about her. Kirari. Kirari's creepy, y'all. I didn't like her. I didn't like her because like of the whole gambling ring. The way that she ran things was like super gross to me. Maybe it's just because like I'm not cut out to, you know, manipulate people for a living, I guess. It's not a bad thing. So I just didn't really like her. I liked her style. Don't get me wrong. I liked, you know, the way that she had her hair. I wouldn't wear that hairstyle though, but I mean, like, I liked it on her. Yumemi. I ain't like her that much either. She wasn't horrible, but she wasn't that interesting to me. I did love her hair. I love that she was able to be honest with her fans and become famous while, you know, staying true to herself later on. But yeah, I didn't like her attitude or her personality. Like, that whole speech that she gave, though, the one where she was like, oh, they disgust me, when she was talking about her fans. I was laughing so hard while watching that. Like, when you think about it, it's like horrible to hear, but at the same time, it was hilarious. Like, the voice actor, because I watched it in the English dub and the Japanese dub, but the English dub had me like on the floor laughing because like her expression was like so aggressive. She was not having it. So yeah, I didn't really like her that much, but she was alright. Yuriko seemed really quiet again. Like, I think she was one that was cheating too. Yeah, I don't like cheating. I never liked cheating. So even immediately when I find out somebody cheated, it's like, ugh, I don't like you no more. But she was cool. I don't really have much to say about her because we didn't really see her much. So, yeah. Yuta. I hated him, bro. I really did. He was so annoying. He thought he was better than everybody else. And you know what? Maybe I may be like, yeah, I really didn't like him because he was rude to Yumiko too. Like, he was mad rude. But yeah, I didn't like Yuta. He was so rude. The thing about it was, he did make me think of old boy from the, what was it? The host club? I think it was Auron host club. I forget what his name was, but I think it started with a K. He kind of reminded me of him, not necessarily in like the attitude, but certainly in the style, like the dark hair with the glasses and stuff. We'll talk about that later, y'all. That's a whole different episode. But yeah, so that's what I felt about Yuta. And Sayaka. Y'all, Sayaka was madly in love with Kirari. Let's be for real. I can't be the only person that guessed that. So yeah, that was that. And you know, Sayaka had good reason to be scared of Yumiko. All right, the big question. Would I recommend this show? Y'all, if I knew you were into madness, mayhem, and gambling, I would recommend it to you. I would say it's unique, it's unpredictable, and certainly not beyond taking a wide left to shock the viewer. I can say I was definitely entertained enough to finish the first season and start the second. But, I mean, I had my doubts. I wanted to stop in between. There were moments where I was like, I ain't watching nothing else, you know, because it was like, there's different moments. And that's just me kind of like, I guess, saying that I have like a bit of a weak stomach. Like with the nail thing and stuff like that kind of had me like, ugh, gross. But, yeah, it's like, I don't even know if I'm going to finish the second. We'll see. Though the show had like good points, it had a lot of not so good ones, which really took away from the viewing experience, in my opinion. But if it's something that you can like ignore, then, you know, sure. I mean, I would recommend it to you. It's interesting. The whole point is like, when I mention certain things, negative aspects in films, like, okay, objectification and this and this and that, one thing that I noticed that a lot of people have kind of like strayed away from is being aware, allowing themselves to be aware and, deciding that that is enough. A lot of people think once they point out something bad about a show or a book or even a person, they're like, okay, I can't be affiliated with that. I have to just drop it and go away. And it's like, there are some things where you can say, for example, like if you watch a bad movie, you can say this is a horrible movie, but it could also be one of your favorite movies. You understand what I'm saying? So the point is, it's okay to like something, but like, it's okay to like something while also recognizing that there are certain aspects of it that, are real issues. You understand what I'm saying? It's okay to like a song, but also register that, hey, this artist did something they shouldn't have been doing, or to read a book and say, hey, this line is actually not so cool, or registering that certain tropes are not cool in real life. There's a certain level of accountability that should be there. But again, allow yourself to be entertained. Allow yourself to have fun with things that are harmless. So yeah, that's the point that really, really matters. So like I said, when I bring certain things up, I'm not bashing anyone. I'm not shaming anyone. I'm just saying, like, this is something that people should be aware of. And we should all, as adults, be able to say, I like this show, but I didn't like this because that's not okay. Register that. Be okay to register that, And like I said, just be for real. So that is it. All right. We have reached the end of my lovely anime review. I want to thank you guys for listening. I want to encourage you to, share this. Support the podcast, support the animes. I'm currently kind of like putting a lot of stuff together, so bear with me. This is new. This is something that I'm trying out. I'm excited to get something started, to try something new, and this is focused on my enjoyment. This is a hobby that I have. One of my hobbies is learning about animation, and being able to share my thoughts and talking about it is something that I really enjoy. So I hope that, as an anime viewer, you enjoy my reviews. And if you have any suggestions for me to check out, I will have like spots where you guys can kind of put those suggestions in, whether that be on my YouTube channel or like in my Instagram questions where I'm like, okay, hey, send me some requests. We'll see what we do. We'll see what we do. I'll see what I can do. That's what I'm supposed to say. So, yeah, I'll keep you guys updated. So, thank you for listening, and have a wonderful day.